his passion was to help the migrants come here, and I never saw him really care anything about the people that actually lived here. I don't even feel safe going anywhere without my gun on me just because these people are not in their right state of mind right now.
It's horrible for the people who are just kind of caught in the crossfire.
Everything in life is a negotiation. I want anybody who doesn't know me to know one thing about me. I am going to do everything to fight for you.
Hey, it's Lou Pimber here with Lou Pimber Speaks. Today I have a very special guest, which I'll introduce here in a minute. But before I get started, I do want to remind you, my book, Breaking Bad, is doing great on Amazon. It's a post-traumatic success story. I'm very proud of it. Those of you who have read it and have written reviews, thank you so much. It's sharing the story of the undercover lawmen that I got to work with, who have paid, and some who have paid the ultimate price, and some who are currently paying it right now. So thank you guys so much for that. Listen, today I'm wearing the U.S. 1% shirt today. What this represents is the 1% of men and women who actually have served our nation. And also, this one in particular is dedicated on my shoulder to Chris Moon, United States Army paratrooper Chris Moon, a local Tucsonan who passed away in 2010. And God bless him for his service. So I want to dedicate it today to Mr. Specialist Chris Moon. Let's get to our guest here. We have Mr. Daniel Butierez from Tucson, Arizona, currently running for office. I believe it's the 7th district congressional seat, right? Interesting opponent you're running up against. Mr. Butierez, I'm going to just let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, or as much as you want, and we'll kind of get going from there. Go ahead, Mr. Butierez. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Lou. My name's Daniel Butierez, born and raised here in Tucson, Arizona. My family's been here since the 1800s. Arizona's my home, and I'm kind of disturbed about the way it's just falling apart with the homelessness and the drugs pouring in. Every day there's a stabbing in Tucson. So ultimately I decided that it was going to take someone from Tucson, born and raised there, to actually have a chance of winning CD7. So I threw my hat into the ring.
And this is your second time, correct?
Correct. The first time I ran against Raul Grijalva.
Yes.
And I kept getting behind other candidates to, supporting them in their run against him because he had just been in there too long, and he and I have nothing in common. Yeah, he kind of he was a socialist. Yeah. And his passion was to help the migrants come here, and I never saw him really care anything about the people that actually lived here. So I got behind a lot of people that ran, and they kept losing and losing, and I started looking at the numbers and everything, and I realized that Tucson's a good old boy town, okay? An outsider coming into Tucson and trying to win this is slim to nil, and I realized that it was going to take someone from Tucson to run. I wasn't a politician, never had any desires to be a politician. I was just a small business owner that loves the state of Arizona and cares about the people in Arizona. So I threw my hat in and decided to run.
Look, I got a lot of respect for that. It takes guts. It takes time away from your business, time away from family. I believe you said you're on the road right now. I believe you're in Yuma. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. We are here for 5 days. We go home tomorrow. We
got it.
Got here.
I see the suitcase back there. You're living out of a suitcase. No, I get it, man. Listen, really quick. So now you're running against the daughter who's running for the seat of her father, right? Who passed away, right? Now, tell me this before we get into that. Why are you running? And you mentioned it earlier, but what else? What makes you want to run?
Well, I have a unique story. I was one of Arizona's wrongfully convicted.
Mm.
I served time in prison. I did about half the time, half my sentence. I came out. My children were gone. The mother of my children were gone. Everything I had owned was gone. I had nothing left. And I started running with the guys I met in prison. They introduced me to a drug called crystal meth and another drug called crack cocaine. And I got hooked on drugs and became homeless. I was homeless for a couple of years. Then I got violated, went back to prison. And at that time, I gave my life over to Jesus Christ. I came out of prison and I went to work for a company called Express Painting. And I worked there for 10 years. I ran the company and I decided I wanted to start my own company. So I left Express Painting and I built a company called Butierez Painting.
Got it.
Now, I built that company up, and during that time, I was fighting my case to get my rights restored and all that. And I wound up winning. The state finally, after 30 years, admitted that I had been convicted of a crime I didn't commit.
Wow.
And Judge Jeffrey T. Bergen took it a step further and said there was never a conviction in the first place.
Wow.
So I got all that cleaned, and then I wound up buying Express Painting because the owner had come to me and asked me, said he was getting ready to retire and wanted to know if I would be interested in buying his company. So I bought Express Painting, and during that time, I was driving around town, looking at the city that just wasn't the home that I grew up in, and I saw the homeless, and I said, you know what? And I was just thinking, God, why did you put me through this? Why did I walk down that road that I walked down? Because it was a very hard road, and I didn't feel I deserved any of it. But He took me down that road, and when looking at the homeless, I realized that everything God does has a reason, and my reason was standing right there, wandering the streets, the homeless, the drugs that are impacting us, because of my unique perspective on everything around us that most politicians, well, no politicians have. I knew this was my calling, so I decided to run for United States Congress. So.
Wow. That's quite the ordeal, man. That's quite. I'm glad you came out of that and you're in a much better place. Congratulations on becoming a business owner, by the way. I'm sure you're not doing this by yourself. You have a team that's helping you. It sounds like.
I've got actually, I've got an incredible team. I've got hundreds of people outdoor knocking. We are completely grassroots. I don't have any big money, no PAC money. Most of the money that I put into this campaign is my own money. We've invested probably a little over $200,000 into this. My sweat, my blood, my wife, she is with me all the time. We are hitting the road. We are, like I said, we are completely grassroots. And while I'm out there talking to the community, my opponent's running on, I'm going to continue my dad's work. Okay. But the people, because I am grassroots and I'm actually out speaking to the people, she's not. She's got big money and PACs supporting her. So she just gets endorsements from higher ups, runs television ads and all that. She's not meeting the people. She is unaware of the fact that the people don't want another 22 years of Grijalva. They are
Yeah.
ready for change.
I think the people have already seen what that's going to bring, and it's 2025 now. We need a 2025 version. We need a new vision for the future. You're absolutely right. And what makes you more qualified for the role versus Miss Grijalva?
Well, I can sum that up real quick. Our country wasn't founded on politicians running our country. It was founded under business owners that when they had succeeded and they were ready to retire, they went and gave of themselves to their community, is the way it used to be. Now people go to school and they become career politicians and they have no understanding of what the average man or woman needs in their life. and they have no understanding of small businesses, and that's a big thing.
You're absolutely right. As a small business owner or as a business owner, the key component of that is you may be selling or offering a product, but what you're doing is you're leading people. And and,
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right. I've always wanted business owners to become leaders of our nation because they know what it's like to lead people. They know what it's like to have to work hard so that the people that they employ have a way to make ends meet, to earn a living. Because if they don't work hard, their people don't earn. And that's the part that many politicians today are missing. They're career politicians. They don't understand that concept that the leader has to work, has to perform for those who follow or vote for them to thrive. You're absolutely right.
and that's something you bring that up. At the last forum Adelita and I both had, she was talking about the big beautiful bill and how it was giving tax cuts to billionaires. And I responded to that comment and I said, let me tell you something. The tax cut she's referring to was the Small Business Tax Reduction Act of 2017, which is when I started my company, which is why I started my company. Yeah. It gave me an opportunity to start a business without being buried in tax. So what I told to the group, I said, I'm not a billionaire. Heck, I'm not even a millionaire. I'm just a hardworking small business owner. Yeah. And heck, there's days that I don't even there's some weeks that I don't even get a paycheck because my employees get paid first.
They have to come
Okay.
first. You're absolutely right. And I
And
think that's an important point to take note because most people are under the impression that it's the other way around. And that's what makes a good leader of people. People will follow you first because of your position, but then they're going to follow you because you have a relationship with them. And they're going to follow you because you've shown them results and you're showing people results through your business. And good for you for that, sir. I want to move on. Your position on drug smuggling in District 7. What are you seeing there, and what are you proposing to do? What's your message on that?
well, the drug smuggling, we need to secure our border big time. I've been on the border for the last couple of years. Mr. Chilton, I don't know if you've heard of Mr. Chilton, Jim Chilton. He's a pretty famous rancher out here in Arizona.
Yes.
He has trail cams out on his property. He's got four of them. And before Trump took office again, he was catching about 100 people a day, groups of six or seven, with the heavy duty backpacks on, coming across this property. Now, those backpacks wound up being left on my dad's property empty,
Hmm.
where people were getting picked up because the neighbors said there was a lot of activity over at my dad's property, which is way out in the middle of nowhere. But that's because people would pick them up there. The Border Patrol, that there's a checkpoint right outside Arivaca, and when you leave there, they used to check you. Well, during the Biden administration, there was no Border Patrol there because they were all busy being taxi cab service from
Right.
the end of the wall, driving them over to the Border Patrol station, and from them they'd take them over to 3 points where they'd load them up on buses, and then the buses would take them into town to the migrant camps, which
Right.
were
Right. Right.
a few of them here in Tucson. Anyways, those drugs that, and so we knew that those backpacks contained drugs. The people that went through were men. The backpacks were left at my dad's property because they had done their job, and then they loaded them up in a vehicle, and from there they took them into wherever they went from there. This was happening every day, and Mr. Chilton brought it to the attention, and I was at the two congressional hearings where he wanted someone to do something and secure the wall because they were just pouring through the wall.
Oh yeah, I've
And
been out there. I've seen the burlap sacks left behind. I as a when I served as a law enforcement officer, I ran a couple operations out there as undercover, observing all the smuggling. It was just completely just open, and so What's happening now, though? The border is secure. It's about 90+% secure. What's happening now in Tucson, in your area, stems all the way to Yuma, I believe, right? What's happening now with fentanyl and what are you seeing there? And what are you going to propose? What is your message on that?
Well, for starters, there's just complete lawlessness. We had another knife attack last night. A young girl stabbed someone else on the city bus. I heard about it from several different people because I'm in Yuma and I'm
Yeah,
I'm not there, so I didn't get watching the local news. But apparently, there was another knife attack. That
yeah.
the day before, there were like 8 people fighting at the bus station. The homeless are running around with knives and swords. So I don't even feel safe going anywhere without my gun on me just
Yeah.
because these people are not in their right state of mind right now.
Do
Okay.
you think that started because Romero, the mayor, was just didn't she make it where the homeless can just ride the bus for free or something like that? Is that I may or
Oh,
may not
oh
be
yeah,
understanding that?
$60 million a year we're spending on free bus rides.
Wow.
And they're having stabbings on those buses, quite a few.
And that policy is still in place, so that practice is still in place.
Oh yeah. And just so you have an idea, over on at the bus stations along the road, they're all standing there smoking fentanyl. I did a TikTok video.
Wow.
They didn't want me to record them, but I was over there talking to them, and Tucson's being called Zombie Land because they all look like zombies. And there were like 8 homeless people standing at the bus station. I was trying to talk to them, and it's like they don't even know you're there.
Wow.
And they're just standing there with their foil, their lighter, and a straw in their mouth, burning the foil, smoking the fentanyl. And the only thing law enforcement's done there, and it's not their fault. This is what they're told to do. They're not allowed to do anything with these people, and that's because of Conover and our mayor. But they have gone around to the businesses and gave them Narcan. That's it. So it's just in case they have any contact with the fentanyl, here's some medication in case that happens. You can take care of yourself
That's horrible.
rather than deal with the issue.
So what are you proposing then? What are you proposing?
Well, my first plan is to have a roundtable because I think the local government needs to deal with this. I can my responsibility is to secure the border, which I will actively support Trump in securing the border. But I want to do a roundtable, and I have a plan to address the homeless, a very well thought out plan. As a matter of fact, Trump came out and did a video that was word for word my plan, which tells me he's watching me. But he the I want to do a roundtable and let them know, hey, if you'll follow my plan, which is, first off, we got to enforce the laws.
Yeah,
Possession of fentanyl is a felony punishable with prison time. They
correct.
all have it. I mean, I stood there with 8 people smoking it, acting like I wasn't even there. They had no idea I was even there.
Wow.
So there's 8 people committing felonies right in front of me, and so they're easily we can deal with that.
Yeah,
Um,
there's so
it's
many
a,
people who just ride the bus. My mother used to ride the bus, and I used to ride the bus as a child, Suntran, number 8, up and down Broadway, man. I know all the routes, 16 on Oracle. It's horrible for the people who are just kind of caught in the crossfire. It's horrible. So, what
well,
do you
eighty
suppose?
percent of our students are riding the bus.
Yeah, yeah.
80%.
Has that been brought up in any of the forums where you've had with Miss Grijalva?
Not yet. We what they talked about last time. See, I'm learning this debate stuff. I,
Hmm.
I'm like I said, I'm not a politician, but I kind of focus on answering the questions, which my mom pointed out that you proved you're not a politician. I said, what do you mean, Mom? She goes, honey, politicians don't answer the questions. They pivot and talk about what they want to talk
That's right. That's right. So tell me about what's going on in Yuma. Who are you meeting with in Yuma right now? Or who have you
Oh,
met?
we've been doing a lot of events. I was door knocking in San Luis.
San Luis.
and Yuma yesterday. The day before, I went to the bunch of small businesses and spoke with small business owners and left my cards on their thing. Yesterday morning, we went down and put up signs in San Luis because apparently no one put any up, which is similar to what they did in Nogales. I wasn't going to put any signs up in Nogales, but I wound up going down and doing it because I said, you know what? If I don't put signs there, they're going to think we don't care
Right.
or that I don't care about them. So
Right.
I figured, you know what? It's $300 worth of signs. I'll just go put them up there. If they
Yeah.
destroy them, they destroy them.
Yeah.
And I wound up talking to um, uh, I can't remember the radio. It's Oscar, and he's got this radio station. I can't remember the name of it, but it's in Nogales. And I went in and talked to him, and he told me he couldn't believe it when I put signs there. He said, "Do you realize you are the only Republican to ever do that?" And I
Wow.
said, "You know what? I thought they were going to, I wasn't gonna because I thought they would destroy my signs, but they haven't even broke my flags off of them." And he said, "That's because the city respects you, mainly because you put your signs out here."
That's good. That's good.
So,
And in Yuma, there's a lot of field workers out there, right? And
yep,
a lot of field workers out there, many of which who, and I believe Yuma has a practice where they come across, at least San Luis, they come across lawfully, they get on a bus, and they go to work, right? I
yep.
see that happen. Um, what's your message on that? On the illegal worker, the legal worker? What do you say to those folks or those who
Well,
employ them?
I've been talking to the farmers here,
Yes.
and they don't have any illegal workers. They don't need any illegal workers. There is so much of a demand for work in Mexico, and it's so easy for them to get day worker passes. And they have all these buses. I mean, they have yards of buses. They drive down, they pick them up, and they bring them out to the fields, and the buses park in the field, and they all work, and then they take them back at the end of the day.
So you're saying it
So,
can be done legally then?
yeah, yeah.
I've been telling people all along. I've seen it for myself. It can happen. Si se puede. You know what I mean? You can do it right.
Well, you know what? And that was the other thing, Adelita. She brought up in the last forum about what they're out there deporting the workers and the farm workers and the construction workers. And I said I need to say something to that. And I said, let me tell you something. If there are contractors out there that are hiring illegals, then they need to be fined. Period.
Yeah.
I'm a contractor. I have no illegal workers working for me. Every one of my employees goes through E-Verify. Okay, it's the law. And if I hire an illegal worker, then I'm looking at being hit with a fine if I
Correct.
get caught.
Correct.
So
Correct.
these contractors, if they are hiring illegals, then they need to be hit with a fine. We need to enforce the law.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Between the regions of Yuma, Tucson, Nogales, and other areas that's part of your district, what are the different what's the feedback you're getting from people? Is it the same? Is it different based on the region?
It is different. Yuma, the biggest thing Yuma has spoken to me about has been water. They're a farming community, so
Yeah.
water's an issue to them. And they got plenty as it is, but they always have a concern about water and other places taking their water. Nogales, their issue are jobs. Douglas, which is also my area, their issue is also jobs.
Did you say Douglas?
They're
Was that
Yeah,
Douglas?
Douglas, Arizona.
Okay, Douglas.
And they're breaking ground on expanding the port, which is going to help Douglas a lot because
Okay.
that was a big thing they wanted done. They've been wanting done for years. And Grijalva had never gone out there to meet with them. And that's something else I heard that he never came out and spoke with them. And they needed the port expanded because there's people, and I've been there in the morning and watched it. There's people from the U.S. going to work in Mexico, people in Mexico coming to work in the U.S. and the traffic jam at that Port Authority is unbelievable.
I've seen that. Yeah,
Yeah,
got it. And so each area based on their demographic, based on their population and their people have their own issues. What do they all have in common? What did you notice that they all have in common that they need from in terms of representation from people like yourself?
they all want change. They
Mm,
said they've been they've looked the same for decades. Nothing's changed, but everything around them grows. In the cities, they have a larger, they have new buildings. The they have growth, which CD7 has had no growth, and
why do you suppose
I've
that is?
seen it
Why do you suppose that is? Why do you suppose CD7 has been lacking in growth?
because CD7 has been neglected for decades. I
Mm,
mean, the roads are not taken care of. As a matter of fact, if you go to Tucson and you go into CD7 areas, we've lost four Walgreens because of the theft in the Walgreens. The homeless just go in and take what they want. Food City's getting ready to close, and I did a press conference, brought the attention to the public that these are closing because of this homeless crisis. But if you drive through CD7, you'll see all the homeless camps and homeless are pretty much in CD7 in Tucson.
got it.
There are some in other areas, but nothing like CD7.
Here's a question.
CD7 contains all these.
Here's a question. I was watching the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth yesterday talking about homelessness, right?
Yep.
I'll ask the same question, the same question that they asked him. So we got this homeless problem. Part of it is a drug addiction problem. Part of it is just some people just, a mental health, and the other part is just apathy, right? Where do you put them?
Well, my plan is we enforce the law, we get them off the streets. We put them all in detox because I can assure you and this is my me having lived in the streets, me going over and walking through gospel rescue.
Yeah,
They're all hooked on drugs,
right.
every one of them. So we need to get them through detox. Once we get them through detox, then we got to have a work program to help get them their self-esteem back.
Okay.
And I had a plan to use the Marana prison that has been emptied, but now the Border Patrol bought it. They're going to be using it as a migrant camp, which really sucks because it was ideal for my program.
Yeah.
But we need to get them into a work camp. And that was a great work camp because the inmates that used to be there used to work for the farms in the city. The city loved having that there because they had all these workers. I mean, they were dedicated. They always went to work. They never missed a day. They were always there. Really good employees. Well, we could do the same thing with the homeless.
Okay.
The exact same thing. And I actually hire the homeless, by the way, in my companies.
Would
They
that, in your scenario, would that be like on a volunteer basis, or there's going to be some kind of court order that says you are therefore going there?
Do you remember back years and years ago when a guy got in trouble when he sat before a judge? The judge gave him a choice.
Yes.
You can either go to jail or you can go to the army.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And a whole bunch of guys went to the army. Well, it'd be the
Yeah.
same thing. You can either sit here in jail and possibly go to prison, or you can join our program. Either way, you're going to go through detox because you're going to detox here in jail
Yeah.
or you're going to detox in the program. The difference is when you're done with detox, you have an opportunity to get your life back because we're
I
going to
like
hook
that.
you up with a job where you earn a paycheck. And those that need mental health, because everyone wants to just say mental health, mental health. We need to get counselors. No,
Yeah.
the majority of the people that are out there on the streets, once you get them through detox, and as you've been with law enforcement, you've probably seen some guys that went into jail looked like hell. I
Yeah.
mean, just like hell. And they're in jail for a month or two, and they come out, and all of a sudden they look good, healthy. They're going to go out and start their life.
Yeah.
The problem right there is they walk out and hit a block wall.
Yeah.
And what they need is a job to earn a paycheck to get their self-esteem back.
Okay.
Because
So let
if
me
you
ask you
don't give
this.
them, yeah,
Here's the $1 million question. It's a great idea. How do you pay for that facility? Who pays for it?
Eh, Well, the Marana prison originally was owned by the state, so
Okay.
it was ideal. What we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to bring funding in, which Trump has already said. So I would sit down and speak with Trump to bring this funds over to Arizona and start this program. And I don't think there'd be much problem in it. But I want to start it off with some funds. And if we had the prison, it wouldn't take near the amount of funds.
Yeah.
But we're going to need funds to start out. And now here's the beauty of it. And this is where my path through what I had to walk comes into play. When I was on the prison, I went to a work yard. It was the only yard where nobody was getting high, the only yard where nobody was fighting. I mean, it was one of the best yards I'd ever been on. And the reason is because nobody wanted to lose the opportunity to go to work.
Got it.
So because we got to leave prison every day and went out and went to work, it was great. And I walked out of prison with $5,200. Now,
There you go.
during that time, 1/3 of my pay went towards my room and board. The other 2/3 went into a savings account.
Wow.
So what I would plan to do is the part of the program because we're giving these people life skills and jobs and then their self-esteem back, teach
Right.
them responsibility. 1/3 of their pay would go to pay their room and board,
There
which
you
they
go.
know that's part of the program, and the other two
Perfect.
thirds goes into a savings account.
That's great because it shows them accountability for themselves. It gives them a sense of that they're contributing to their own welfare and their well-being, and they're making some money, and they have a plan to get out. That's good, man. I like that idea. I like that idea. Um, Daniel Gutierrez, you're originally from Tucson. Where'd you go to high school at?
Marina.
Marana High School. Okay. What are some of your best memories of growing up in Tucson and Marana?
My best memories. I was always a loner, and
Yeah.
I used to ride my horse and take my dog up into the Tornado Mountains. Now there's houses everywhere, but
Yeah.
there were no houses back then. And I used
Yeah.
to just ride up in the Tornado Mountains and spend my weekends up there just camping out.
How did you meet your current wife?
I met her on Facebook
Okay. All right.
about
Facebook strikes
14 years
again.
ago.
How long ago was that, sir?
About 14 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Got it. Got it. And she's a key player in your progress and your success and in your current run for office. I assume,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. My wife is the hardest working woman, well, next to my mom, I've ever met.
Yeah.
She, when I started the company, I left the express painting and we had horses because we rescued horses. We had property. I'd bought a new house and we had all these bills. And I come home and told her that I had quit my job.
Hmm.
And she said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Well, I'm going to start my own business." And she was freaking out. And I said, "Honey, it's going to be all right." And today, I own two successful businesses.
Good for you, sir.
My son runs both my companies. My wife and I could be traveling and enjoying life right now instead of doing this. Um, because my son runs it all. I can run whatever I need to do, I can
That's
do from my
incredible.
cell phone.
Tell me about your son. How old is your son? What's his name?
My son's 31 years old. His name's Daniel Butierez
Very good, man.
Jr.
I'm sure you're very
Oh,
proud of me. You have any other kids?
I have Robert, Stephanie.
Right on.
They're they're my step kids. They were I raised them ever since they were babies, so
I love it.
I'm their
That's
dad.
that's great. That's great. And so you have all this going on for yourself. Tell me again, why are you running for office, and what should people take away from you, sir? Like, what's the biggest gift you can offer people?
Running to represent everyone. The person I'm running against, and there's I don't believe there's anybody that doesn't know this to be an absolute truth, is only interested in representing people that align with her. Okay, I'm willing to listen to everybody and represent everybody. And I know as a business owner, and I've run crews since I was 21 years old. Everything in life is a negotiation. And a good negotiation means that everybody's walking away feeling a little bummed out. That's just a fact.
Mm.
So if you're going to represent everybody, you got to be willing to make sure everyone's as happy as they can be. You can't just turn and ignore half the community just because you don't like the things the way they think. And I believe that's what Tucson needs to bring, what CD7 needs to bring the community together again so that we can once again sit down at the table, Democrats and Republicans, and enjoy a meal without hating each other.
You know, what makes you different from other Republican candidates in Arizona? How are you able to reach across the aisle to the other side?
That is a tough one because well, first off, I never attack the Democrats ever because I don't feel it that it's the Democrats' fault at all. It's the far left that has made Democrats look bad.
Hmm.
It's the far right that's made Republicans look bad. If you look at the majority of the Democrats and Republicans, we all believe in God, family, country, and the Constitution of the United States. So when I speak to people, I just tell them, listen, you and I are the same thing. We believe in God, country, the God, family, country, and the Constitution. And they all agree. So we find a common ground to work from.
Got it. What's next for Daniel Gutierrez from Yuma? Where do you go? And then what do you have going on there?
I'm well, I'm gonna finish tomorrow. Tomorrow we got a big fundraiser here at Luke's Casino.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
at 11 o'clock here in Yuma.
You're still in Yuma.
I leave here, I go back to Tucson, and I'm not sure my schedule, but I've got to go to Avondale. I've got to get to Nogales, and I've got to go spend some more time in Douglas because, and that's the thing I enjoy about this. I really love Douglas. I think that's a great little town, and I get to go with my wife, and we get to spend some time together alone and meet new people.
All right.
So I really enjoy that part.
You know, I think people like a down to earth politician, if you will, right? Because I believe they can relate to that. It sounds like you have a lot of that within you, you know. So, any last parting words you want to share for those watching and for those who don't know you, you know, because this is great when you're speaking to those who know you. What about those who don't know you? Any parting messages to those who don't know you, who are kind of on the fence of what to do?
I want anybody who doesn't know me to know one thing about me. I am going to do everything to fight for you, to boost to make you feel safe in this community once again, and to make you feel financially secure in this community. These are things that I ultimately plan to do for our community. And the big thing is, remember, we have a special election right now. The ballots drop on August 27th of this year, just a couple weeks away.
Right.
And you can vote at any time at any polling booth up until September 27th or September 23rd, which is our last day to vote.
Got it.
Thank you.
Mr. Gutierrez, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, sir. I know you have a very busy schedule. You probably got to run. I appreciate you finding time in the middle of your run in Yuma. We've been going back and forth, so thank you very much. Thank you to your campaign manager, your wife, for being so helpful, and thank you for your time, sir. May God continue to bless you and your business and your family, and I wish you nothing but success, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, sir.
Have a
Thank you
good
very
one, Lou.
much. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, share this story, share this with those that you know within Tucson District 7. My name is Lou Pimber. I'll talk to you all very soon.